Welcome to Horrors Yet Unseen, the podcast where we assign each other horror movies to watch and then talk about it so our spouses don't have to listen to us go on and on and on about scary stuff they don't like. I'm Zach.
And I'm Steve. Let's talk about some scary movies. By the way, there will absolutely be spoilers in this show. You have been warned.
That was...
Well,
I love that movie.
I did you ever watch the old black and white show?
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever got into the movie much.
Yeah, I mean, that was on TV Land. So, like, that's how far back
right.
TV Land was. Oh, yeah. Or no, Nick at Night.
Nick at Night. There you go. Yes.
Nick at Night, dude. Yeah, Nick at Night.
I watched that crap out of this Nick at Night.
Oh, bro. Nick at Night.
All the old ones, even Mr. Ed. Remember Mr. Ed?
I love Mr. Ed.
I am Mr. Ed.
Yeah. Oh, Wilbur. So good. Yeah.
And
that one and Green Farms, or not Green Farms, Green Acres, dude.
It's a place to be.
Green Farms is a place close to me. So that's why I said that. Green Acres. Yeah, it's the place to be, dude. Farm living is a life for me, bro. Oh.
Yep.
It slaps, as the kids say.
And then Bewitched.
Bewitched was awesome. I Dream of Jeannie.
Uh-huh.
What else? Just the Monsters. The Monsters was awesome.
Monsters were great.
Man.
Yep.
TV. Dick Van Dyke. Oh, dude.
Falling over the ottoman every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time. Yeah. That was awesome. Those were good. Those are some good shows. But Addams Family, that movie, even 2 was pretty great. But yeah, the MC Hammer collab. I'm almost positive that Michael Jackson shows his glove. Somebody in a Michael Jackson glove shows up in that video. Really? Maybe I'm thinking of too legit to quit, but I don't know. Dude, Michael, okay, so MC Hammer was the first secret cassette that yeah. So, you'd grow up in a super conservative environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up with Gen X kids in the youth group.
Right.
So they were a rowdy bunch.
Aren't they, though?
And one of them later became one of my best friends, and he actually passed away from a drug overdose.
Wow.
And it was really hard on me, but he gave me my first MC Hammer cassette tape in the basement of the church during Sunday church. So the church had
there's layers of wrongness there, right?
I know, it's so good. It's so good. I need to find. I don't have that cassette tape. It got lost in the ether somewhere. But I need to buy that cassette tape just for nostalgia purposes. Because every time I go to the exchange, I look for the MC Hammer cassette tape.
Really?
I don't have a cassette player, but I'd buy one just for that, just to re-listen to the MC Hammer cassette tape. Oh man!
I think the first album that I felt like I shouldn't have, I think, was Paula Abdul.
Ooh,
because she was all sexy on the cover and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And the I remember the videos were over the top,
of course,
suggestive. And I watched one the other day. I was flicking through. It was on YouTube or something. I haven't seen that in 1,000 years. I forget what's the Cold Hearted Snake. That's what it was. That song.
Mm-hmm.
And they're humping the floor and licking posts and stuff.
It was wild,
dude.
Wild.
It's edgy for now, just about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you live in the era of like what WAP, right? So you live in that era,
Yeah. Okay, good point.
and that just completely transcends anything that Paula could possibly do,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
right? So when there because there is no bounds at this point. If we're going to talk about that specifically, like there are we've broken the glass ceiling. There is no
Yeah.
more. There's no more. If that's the subject of a song, it's
That's
over,
really
dude.
popular.
That's really yeah. That is like wild.
Yeah. It still cracks me up that the number of the lyrics that my wife knows to all like old school rap stuff that I'm like, that's what the lyrics are.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up like listening to like John Denver, um, Patsy Cline,
Mm,
Roy Rogers, because my
yeah.
parents were super old, and she grew up listening to like rap, like gangster rap.
That's amazing. Where did she like? Don't tell me it. Tell me off air. I guess where she grew up because I'm very
In a
interested.
suburb
Like,
of Oklahoma City,
okay,
so
well,
not the safest.
yeah, okay, well,
So yeah,
dude, '90s, '80s, and '90s hip hop is that's the bomb,
okay,
the bomb, and I'm gonna date myself with the bomb.
dub.
No, no, not da bomb, like Beyond Insanity, like the hot sauce.
Oh,
Did I
oh,
tell you about that? By the way, did I tell you I did a hot ones challenge?
you mentioned it, but you didn't tell me about it. How'd that go?
Well, I survived.
Was it just like see if you can eat them?
Basically, I
Do you have to
don't
answer really
know.
deep questions as you're doing it about your life
No,
and
we
your
basically just
career?
try to survive.
Okay.
The first one, so I think we bought season 22, which is a wild thing that they're on like season 22, but um, we bought or they're on like season 24, I think now, but we bought the season 22 hot sauces, and then
Because the ones that Conan O'Brien.
I think so.
You see that?
That was awesome,
He's like losing his mind.
dude. He was rubbing the hot sauce like on his nipples. It was wild,
Oh,
and
drinking it out of
and
the
it was like
bottle.
the hottest sauce too.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
were in the midst of this hot sauce, burning our faces off. Brad looked over at me and was like, "How did Conan do that? How did he drank the hot sauce? Like we can't even. How did he do this? He rubbed
I
it on his
saw
face."
I saw an interview later, and he said he went home and he's like, I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, he
When he
went
got home,
too.
he
He
said he
went
felt
too hard,
horrible.
man. He went full Conan. That's the thing.
He went full Conan. Yeah,
He went full Conan. It's too much. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, it was good. We survived. I didn't have any major issues the next day, so that was nice. I did work from home just in case, but um,
Wise.
I did. Well, I didn't want to be on the road, like
Oh.
on the way to work in the morning or on the way home for an hour in the car, and need to go to the bathroom right now because sometimes
That's not good.
it's a right now thing.
If you got to do number one in the car, keep a Gatorade bottle handy, but you can't do number twosies when it's like an explosive situation.
You can't do number twosies in the car, Steve.
No,
Let's just
no, you
say
can't.
that. Why did you not say that?
Especially, yeah.
You were like, we can pee in the car, but pooping, oh, maybe. Like, why'd you leave it open?
Maybe not
Have
while
you
you're
pooped in the car?
driving.
Are you pooping in the car, Steve?
No, not. I did poop in the car when my parents had a like a top like a pickup truck camper. You know, it's like
Yeah.
on the in the bed and over the top of the cab.
So you had, would you crawl through the back
like
window?
a toilet. Yeah, crawl through the back window because I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Crawl through the window between the truck and the car, or the truck and the camper, and go to the little toilet in there and do your business.
And just, I bet, were you hoping that your dad like didn't hit any potholes or anything like that?
I never thought about it. No.
For real, that'd be the only thing I think about, like my dad swerving or something or braking aggressively. God dang.
No, we're cruising down the highway at 55 miles an hour. Was the top speed at the time. I remember when they bumped up to 65. I was like, what? What?
Yeah.
And then 75, and come someplace of like 85 now. And then I moved to Germany, and it's like speed limits, whatever.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need speed limits.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have any issues.
Good. I'm glad you survived.
I won't do it again. I did text the group. I was like, "Hey, I think we're done. I think we're good." We did.
Experience that. Cross that
We
off
did
the
it
bucket list.
twice. That's fine. We're good. I don't mind hot sauce, but I think that just kind of reminded me this is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool to maybe watch other people go through it,
Right.
but experiencing it yourself,
Well, it's kind of like a college prank thing, or a dare. It's a dare.
Yeah.
And people who dare themselves to do stupid things they're questionable.
Yeah.
If you're getting paid money to be on the show, that's one thing.
Unless you're getting paid money to be on the show. Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool. What else? What else we got to talk about? I wrote down favorite A24 movie so far. I wrote this down not knowing how prolific A24 has been.
They got a heck of a lot of movies, dude.
Dude, I went to
I thought I'd
Letterboxd.
seen most of them, but there's a lot I haven't seen.
I went to Letterboxd and I made a list of A24 movies, and I went to their website, typed in, went to their films page, and I typed into Letterboxd. There's probably a list already out there, but why not do things the hard way and make your own list? And
sure.
I didn't add any of the upcoming movies.
Okay.
So these are only movies that have been released, and I got 147 of them.
What?
Yeah.
There are that many?
147 of them.
Crap.
I have only seen 14% of them, according to Letterboxd. And that is up to date. So that is not like a Zach special where it's not up to date. But if you want me to share the list with you, I can.
Sure.
Yeah, let me, for the riveting podcast.
Oh, there's a filter underneath details on a film. You can just click on the A24 Studio button.
Oh, for real? They already got like that?
Filtered out, yeah.
Well, then there you go. Didn't even need to make the list. But I did.
Well, good for you.
There you go. A24. But yeah, I've only seen 14% of the 147 movies. But I thought, out of the movies that I've seen, out of the movies that you've seen, what is your favorite one?
Okay, I've seen 25%, looks like.
Yeah.
Favorite one, huh?
Mm-hmm. And you've seen, I've never seen The Whale.
That's so good.
Yeah.
If you want to be depressed for about a week.
Yeah. That's why I have, I know that Brendan or Bro Rondon or whatever his name is, he's a phenomenal actor. He's always been.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's I don't know. It's just it's too heart. It's too much heart.
It's heavy, man.
Yeah.
It is heavy.
And then, I've never seen Dix the musical.
Yeah, I chose not to watch that one. It looked kind of funny though.
I mean, cool.
So if I sort these by your list by average rating, highest first, it looks like I forgot that Everything Everywhere All at Once is A24, but that's like the top rated one on Letterboxd anyway.
Yeah, I've never seen Everything Everywhere All at Once yet. I've not seen that. I know. I've not seen it.
Dude, so freaking good.
I didn't realize how many of these movies are A24 movies. They're not. I don't know. Maybe I just missed the boat as far as the marketing was concerned. But yeah, I did sort by highest rated. I added some to my list to watch. I've never seen The Lobster. I wanted to watch The Lobster.
That. Oh, please tell me when you watch that. I
Okay.
want to talk to you about that movie.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
so
I'm I'm
weird.
thinking that I'm gonna watch it like this week
Okay.
because I put it on my list. But like, what else? Marcel.
Marcel, the shell with shoes on. That
Yeah.
is the most heartwarming. Just like it's the best movie.
Yeah. You told
It's
me A Ghost Story is not necessarily the best movie. It's not great.
it's good, but it's slow and thoughtful. It's kind of meditative, really. It's a
Yeah.
meditation on grief if you feel like getting into that.
Got it. So yeah, out of the movies, so I've only seen. Can we? I can't hide those, can I? Or I can't. Can I only show
You can
those? Sort
fade.
by like freaking films I've seen?
Uh,
No, I can't even. That's not even a thing. Okay.
you can sort by your rating, and then the ones at the end would be ones you haven't rated.
Oh, sort by watched. I've seen watched. Boom. There it is. Okay. So I've seen Civil War, The Iron Claw, Talk to Me, Beau is Afraid, Pearl, Bodies, 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 Men, X, Lamb, The Green Knight, Uncut Gems, Midsommar, Hereditary, The Disaster Artist, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, It Comes at Night, Swiss Army Man, The Witch, Ex Machina, Tusk, and Under the Skin. That's my list.
So apparently, according to this, I sorted by my rating the highest first, and I have rated a lot of them very highly. I've got Civil War, Zone of Interest, Beau is Afraid, The Whale, Marcel, the Shell with Shoes On, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Midsommar, um, Hereditary, Talk to Me, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Swiss Army Man, The Lobster, The Vivitch, Under the Skin, Pearl, Men, X, Under the Silver Lake, The Hole in the Ground, A Ghost Story, Blackcoat's Daughter, Ex Machina, Past Lives, Saint Maud, The Lighthouse, The Death of Dick Long. Good movie. It Comes at Night, Bodies, 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 Life After Beth, Dream Scenario, Sharper, Lamb, In Fabric, High Life, Tusk, Enemy. As far as I think that's all I've seen.
Yeah. What's your favorite out of the ones that you've seen?
So it's hard. Like I can't. How do I can't compare Marcel the Shell with Shoes On to like Midsummer.
Can't. Why? Why not?
Because one of them is like, Marcel is like the most wholesome thing you could imagine, and then Midsummer is not.
Yeah.
But
But also,
if I'm going to, so my favorite horror one of all theirs is Midsummer and Hereditary, and then Talk to Me and Witch, and that's the
that's
top five.
all. That's you can't say my favorite is all the horror that they've done.
I just meant like in that order. Midsummer is my favorite.
Midsommar's your like top. That's a top one.
It's my favorite horror movie of theirs.
Got it.
Yeah. And my favorite not horror is probably, Everywhere All at Once. Probably Everything Everywhere at Once.
Hmm.
I mean, so there's movies like that I found very impactful, like The Whale and Zone of Interest and Civil War. That like hit me hard, but I don't necessarily want to watch them again. But I would watch Midsummer or Hereditary in a minute right now. Like just put it on.
Yeah.
Or Marcel, But some of their movies are so heavy that and then weird ones like Swiss Army. Have you seen Swiss Army Man?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I actually really liked that movie.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
Well, let me hear about what you think about The Lobster.
Yeah. I'm like I said, it's on my list to watch the this week. But then again, I got 19 movies on my I want to watch soon list. So,
Yeah. Well, The Lobster is similar in a lot of ways to Killing of a Sacred Deer in that it's very clearly he's having the people do things a certain way because to be weird, same as director.
is everybody speaking in just one monotone?
There's a little bit, like, kind of, sort of. Yeah, it's weird.
Well, the premise is weird.
Yeah, premise is really weird.
The premise is the thing that I'm like, I'm gonna watch this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. You have on here that Eli Roth is making a Hostel series. What series?
Dude,
Those movies should be outlawed.
I don't want this to happen so much that I may start a campaign against it. I think we should rise up against Eli Roth and just have him stop doing this because there's no reason for it.
We need to get a law passed through Congress that just pays him to be quiet. Just like
I don't think we need to bring Congress. They got enough on their plate.
They're not doing anything.
I know that they're not doing anything. They have enough on their plate. Not doing anything. That's the thing that they have on their plate. They have to try to figure out how to balance the scales between appearing like they're doing something and actually not getting anything done. Which we've just made the podcast incredibly political at this point. But oh my gosh, my microphone exploded. And I think it fell back into its place, which serves you right, microphone. Get in your place. Anyway, toxic masculinity to my microphone. But yeah, we should just grassroots.
Yeah,
grassroots campaign. Against it's for these types of movies because like Eli did the Thanksgiving movie. I'm fine with that one. It's the overtly gross movies.
Well, there were some pretty overtly gross bits in that movie, but
listen, name besides the dude getting unpractically cut in half by the dumpster. Name one other moment.
The turkey lady.
That wasn't that bad, dude.
They cooked her like a turkey and like ate parts of her body.
That wasn't that bad. Dude, just take another testosterone shot and be quiet about it. Oh my gosh, dude. Grow up, bro. You watch horror movies and you watch the most depressing horror movies. And that's your problem is they cook the lady like a turkey. Chill out, bro. Like, freaking calm down. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It wasn't that bad. They needed a turkey. You knew it was going to happen. They needed a turkey. Somebody had to die to make that turkey. And why not that mom? Why not the mom?
Why a person at all, Zach? I mean,
because it's
they had access to turkeys,
Steve. Because it's a horror movie.
Okay.
Well,
that's the thing. But like, you make fun of me for like not for liking depressing horror movies, but like they're horror movies.
They're
depressing.
No, not all. Not all.
I guess.
Not all horror movies are depressing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Not all horror movies.
The good ones are. Don't you love that feeling of watching?
No. Not all the good ones. Stop. Okay.
So okay, I want to bring up the Creep movie because you got it on here. So we talked about it on that. We had by this time we will have had released a bonus episode talking about Creep because Zach watched it and we just had to talk about it. So
yes.
So all the stuff on there. Go listen to that first. But what I didn't get around to asking you because I forgot to was how did you feel at the end of the movie? Like it stopped and the axe in the head and all that stuff. How did you feel?
That's a good question. Man, there was this mix of this is possibly one of the greatest horror movies I've ever seen. Because it was so well done. Like I told you in that episode, no notes. I had no real honest notes for this movie.
Yeah.
But then also, I'm just deeply unsettled.
Yeah.
Like deep in my bones, unsettled. Not like, oh, we need to go take a shower, kind of
Right.
creeped out and weird,
It's
but
like questioning the existence of everything. It's unsettled.
yeah, I'm just like, what did I watch, and why did they make this, and can I have more of it, and also don't ever do this again, and
Yeah.
just both ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
And how like, can there be people like this? Are there people like this?
Hey,
Is this
there
just
are
and is
8
this
billion
just
people on the planet. Okay. There are 8 billion. There are
those
300 and what, 325, something like that, 330 million people in America. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, somebody's got to be
somebody like this?
Also, that's just now, let alone the billions of people before us and the billions of people that will come after us. So yes, at some point, somebody's got to be like this.
Yeah. So there's something completely broken in me, probably. But I think the reason I like those kind of movies, it's like that feeling afterwards. It's like that makes me question reality. It makes me question everything I knew. And usually it's in a like a concerning way, because it's rare to come across a movie where you're like, wow, that could things be that wonderful?
Yeah.
Now, I will say, I think the one movie that sticks out for me on that end is the one with Ben Stiller, and he's like, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
One of the best movies I've ever seen in my whole
Right.
life.
That movie sticks out The Secret Life of Walter Mitty sticks out as one of those movies. At the end of it, I'm like, people are good, you know.
People are good, yeah.
Life is great. Love is wonderful. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's go plant some flowers or something.
Okay.
And that's great. And it's, movies. I love movies like that. And there's a movie that I want to see that's a Japanese movie that's just come out recently. It's like the greatest day ever, or the most beautiful day. I forget what it's called exactly, but it's people saying this is the same kind of vibe.
Okay.
And I love those, but I also love the horror movies or movies like that at the end of it you're like, what the heck? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like that feeling of just complete bafflement.
Mm-hmm.
That it's almost like I've learned something new. I really like learning things new, but it doesn't happen all that often. Just in the world, in like I learn things new all the time, but what I mean is like big, heavy, serious things,
Mm-hmm.
like that pull like the cover off of your face, and you're like, whoa, I can see the world now. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I like depressing stuff, Zach.
Got it. Well, you should like other things besides.
I do.
I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm just gonna say that. I don't know that. I've known you for just a little while, Steve, and what I know about you is dark and twisted. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. Also, I did watch Creep 2.
You did?
I watched it this morning.
Oh yeah.
I said in the episode, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. And this morning I was like, quit being a little turd. Freaking just watch it. And yeah, so I watched Creep 2. Not as good. I did not think that it was as good. And maybe that's just Stockholm Syndrome. And I'm just like, I'm too accustomed to Joseph/Aaron. And
he wasn't as disturbing the second time around.
He wasn't as, it was definitely creepy. It was definitely weird. And I love the fact that she was like, she went into the bathroom and she's like, it's not even been 10 minutes. He's already put his dick in my face. That was so funny. So funny to me. Like, but I liked the story of Creep 2.
Yeah, I did too.
The ending was crazy. Not as crazy as the first one, but I don't entirely know what I expected, because you don't expect them to just do the same film twice.
Yeah.
So they have to do something different, something else.
Right.
But there wasn't that shock factor. Maybe I just kind of watched them too close to each other, and I was still in whatever that high pitched frequency that happens when a bomb goes off. Like maybe I was just in that limbo, and I couldn't really fully. I thought at one point so I was looking for the twist. I was looking for what was going to happen, because in the first one, he's sitting in his car, he pans over to the axe, and you're like, that's how he's going to die.
Yep.
And I didn't really know that, because I mean, that's the very beginning of the movie, but I was like, I'm just kind of looking for clues along the way.
Yeah.
And in this one, the clue that I thought that would pay off was the hot tub scene. So he's like in his hot tub or in the pool or whatever, wherever he is. He's listening to that weird song, and she comes in, and he tells the story basically of like that guy who picked him up and was going to take him home, but then beat him, made him dig a grave, and then he basically survived and realized that he was this killer, right? So I thought that's how this movie's going to end. She's going to basically, he's going to want to do that to her. He's going to want to relive that moment. I'll pass this thing off to you, and because I'm struggling to find the inspiration enough to be a serial killer, which is a crazy premise. That is a crazy premise. That he kills that guy in the very beginning, and then it just sits there depressed, like, and then he tells her, he flat out is like, I'm a serial killer, probably America's most prolific serial killer, and nobody ever knows about. And I was like, bro, you're telling her right now? Holy cow.
Yeah. And
it is so shocking. There's no way that she believes that, but I do, because I just watched the first one. And I'm like, dude, you're freaking telling her, dude? And it's also crazy that he just took on Aaron's name. And I'm like, oh, dang, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the best person in the world.
Right. Yeah. And then he showed her, Aaron dying. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she still doesn't believe. She's like, oh yeah, that's you. You put on the peach fuzz mask and smacked the guy in the head with an axe. And she's like, I don't really believe that you're a serial killer. Like, come on. Anyway, that's the way that I thought it was going to end. The way that I thought it was going to end was like maybe they get in some tussle or whatever, and she does survive, but she ends up inadvertently kind of killing him, and then she becomes. And they kind of alluded a little bit to that when he's like, all right, I know that you do this web series, this YouTube series, so I'll give you a good episode. You can kill me. And which would be a crazy.
Do you think he was serious?
I wanted to talk about this. The only true statement that I think is in this movie, in both of these movies, is the fact that he is a pathological liar. Meaning, I don't think you can trust anything he says. So when he says, I killed 39 people, I actually think the number's higher than that.
Oh, probably.
I went back and watched the ending of Creep 2 to count the number of VHSs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So some of them are overlap because like there's part 1s and part 2s.
Yeah.
Sometimes part 3s. But there are at least 3 shelves that we can see. I'm assuming that this cabinet is at least 6 foot tall.
Okay.
Which means that we're not seeing 2 or 3 shelves underneath what we can see.
Yeah.
Like, so if by that logic, what the framing and what we can see,
how many
is already more than 39 people. I went full serial killer conspiracy theory about this, and like, because he admits I've killed 39 people, and I'm like, 39 people, that's crazy. I literally paused the movie at that point, went back to Creep 1, and was like, I'm gonna count the number of people. I'm gonna also make the assumption that you can hold more storage on a DVD than a VHS. So there's no reason to have a part 1, or there's no need to have a part 2 or a part 3 on DVDs. So it's unknown how many stacks of DVDs he has. Like,
Yeah.
I think that the number is significantly higher than 39, but I can't find any proof to back that up online, because everywhere you go, everybody's just citing the fact that he said 39 in Creep 2. So, but I will stand on this hill by myself until somebody joins me. I think that it's significantly higher than 39.
I don't doubt it.
And also, let's get the guy on the podcast. I don't want to say he's an open invitation, because I'm kind of creeped out by him a little bit, just as a person in general. But like, I want to know. I want to ask him, or find an interview where somebody else asked him, how many people do you think Joseph has actually killed? Because I think it's higher than 39.
Well, I thought I'm trying to remember where I thought I heard something recently about that, because I thought it came along with the announcement that they're doing a Creep TV series.
Yeah.
And I thought they said that he's killed so many X number of people, and they're like, they basically have an endless number of episodes that they could do, basically.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know what the article says. Each episode exposes a new victim from the fabled Creep tapes. I mean, how good is his acting?
That's so good. I kind of want to see him in other stuff, but because what if that's just how he is? Like, just a creepy guy anyway.
He plays it so well, which is incredibly disturbing. I don't know. Yeah, I think that there's definitely more than 39. At least from what we see. At least from what we see in the cabinet, let alone possibly what we don't see.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you came out the other side.
4.5 for Creep.
Okay.
Only a 4 for Creep 2. I still thought the premise was good, but it didn't live up. There wasn't enough creepiness to it. I wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted more uncomfortable Tubby Time feel in the second one. I mean, you had the moment where he's like, "Yeah, let me get naked in front of you because I
to break the ice."
To break the ice. Like, that's a wild icebreaker. Yeah. He's like, I don't know you. There's this weird energy or weird ice block or whatever between men and women. So I'm going to completely strip down. That's so crazy. But she fully leans into it.
Yeah. She totally does.
She goes, all right, is it my turn? And it throws him off. Which
totally does. That's what I loved.
Which lends it. That's why I started to think, oh, she's going to turn into this. Like, she's going to give herself fully over to this thing,
and they're going to. She would too, yeah.
And they're going to enter into. I don't necessarily know if it would be quote unquote supernatural to pass this juju off to this energy off to her, but
I thought it might be some sort of like a jigsaw thing with
right.
What's her name? Sarah or whatever. Anna.
Yeah, I forget what her name is.
Amanda. I thought she might come along and try to be sort of kind of get into it, like you said.
Yeah, let me take you on your first kill kind of thing. Yeah. That would be a wild thing too. Like, he passes this off.
Yeah.
But he's still stalking her. I'm excited to see what happens, because she technically is a survivor. I don't know if there are other survivors out there. It was a decent movie.
Yeah.
It was a decent movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what else did you watch this week, Zach? Besides Creep 1 and Creep 2?
Okay, well, I watched Godzilla -1.
Oh, should I watch that?
Should you?
Is it any good?
The question is, why haven't you? You've had access to it for weeks now.
We almost watched it the other night. We
Almost
started it
only
up.
counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, right?
Yeah.
So don't give me this. Do or do not. There is no try. Freaking just piss or get off the pot, bro.
All right. I mean, I'll watch it. I'll watch it soon.
And here's the thing. Don't act like I'm forcing you to watch a really trashy movie. This is possibly the greatest movie you're going to see in your lifetime. I'm going to hype it up to that level. There will be no other greater experience you have.
I'm sure you are completely right on that in every way.
Well, you wouldn't know because you've not seen the freaking movie. So, I saw the movie Cursed from 2005.
Was that, but like the witches gals? Like the goth gals? Emo?
What? Are you thinking of The Craft?
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, sorry.
So no, that's not, that was The Craft. I saw Cursed.
Huh?
Yeah. So it has Christina Ricci, Jesse Eisenberg, Joshua Jackson, Judy Greer, Scott Baio, Milo Wilmo-Vamalama. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Shannon Elizabeth is in this movie for basically a blink and you miss it kind of cameo.
Yeah.
Portia is in this movie. Michael Rosenbaum is in this movie. It says uncredited on Letterboxd. He's a main character in this movie. I don't know why he's uncredited. He's a freaking Nick Offerman's in this movie.
What?
Apparently Lance Bass is in this movie. I'm just now realizing, but I did not see him at all. Sorry, Lance, I did not see you in this movie. That you probably forgot that you shot.
Craven.
It's a Wes Craven movie.
I'll add it to my list.
So we talked about this a couple episodes ago, where not all John Carpenter movies are winners.
Yeah.
Not all Wes Anderson movies are winners either.
Wes Anderson or Wes Craven?
What did I say?
You said Anderson.
Oh, not all Wes Craven movies. Just edit that out. Just bleep out what I said. I'm so sorry that I spoke disparagingly about Wes Anderson.
It's all right. I'll let it go.
You're not Wes Anderson. Steve, you're Steve Martin. Not you. Just apologized. Are you a Wes Anderson proxy? Is that like?
He's my man. Don't be dissing on the Wes. You're dissing the wrong Wes, boy.
I don't know what energy you bring in here. I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. It's not bad, but it's definitely not awesome. And the CGI there's
CGI in it?
So bad. It turned it around. It's so bad, it's so good. I don't know, man. You definitely gotta watch it. I put it on your list, so like at some point you will get this movie.
Okay.
Because I don't know. It was good. It was decent. And then I watched Creep yesterday. I watched Creep 2 this morning. I watched It Follows, which is the movie that you assigned me. So 5 movies total this week. It's a pretty light kind of week. Yeah. I need to finish Uncle Peckerhead or whatever that movie's called. And then I also need to finish the movie Tarot. I'm like halfway through that one. But then I also have there's a bunch of other movies. I want to watch the Moon Knight or Moonrise Kingdom.
Yes.
I want to watch that. Like I said, there's 9 films on my watch list right now that I really want to prioritize, but at some point I'll get to them.
Yep.
Anyway, what did you see this week? I'm sure you're going to blow my number out of the water.
I shot for like one a day. Yeah, stop motion. I watched that it's on Shudder now, and it's really good. I 4.5 starred that one. It's a bit slow, like some of these more like some of the modern day horror stuff is a bit slow. It's super creepy, and it's I don't want to give too much away since you're going to see it, but
yeah,
it's very good. Then I saw A Dark Song, which was a movie recommended to me by Dimitri, friend of the show, who I met up with recently, and he said he recommended Dark Song. It's also on Shudder. 3.5 stars. It wasn't quite as good. It's a very interesting movie because the whole thing, like the entire movie, is two people and they're just locked in this house, and they're doing like this 6-month-long ritual to summon an angel. Yeah, because like if you summon an angel, I guess you get any wish you want, and it's rough for them. So, but it was good. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I watched. Then I watched Pyewacket, spelled Pye Wacket. Pyewacket, which is the name of one of the demons listed in the Witchfinder General's book. And so it's like I would call it a folk horror movie. This girl's like into the occult, and she is mad at her mom because she's a teenager, and she summons a demon, and then she's like, but I didn't mean to.
Pyewacket.
Pye. Also on Shudder, yeah. I really liked that one. 4 stars. And then I watched Come True. I was just kind of on a Shudder kick. Come True is also available on Hulu, I think. It's a weird movie that I really enjoyed in a weird way. Not a creepy way, just weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about this girl who having weird dreams, and she gets into this dream study, and it gets weirder. Yeah, I had to think about that one for a while afterwards. And then I watched Hellbender, also on Shudder. Hellbender's about this mom and daughter who are living in the woods, so kind of another folk horror type thing. And they're living in the woods because they are both ridiculously powerful witches called Hellbenders. And the mom is keeping the daughter out of society because she cannot be trusted to manage her powers. And she does not know this about herself. But kind of a cool thing about it is, like, throughout in the movie, they have a band, like the mom and the daughter, they play together. It's like for like what they do, so like for fun, because she's homeschooled and everything. And the band actually kind of rocks. It's pretty good. Anyway, then The Innkeepers, which is on Shudder as well. I was told that if I liked The Blackcoat's Daughter, then I would like The Innkeepers. And I did not like The Innkeepers, but I liked The Blackcoat's Daughter. So The Innkeepers, it's a ghost movie that's just kind of not well. It's just then nothing happens. And then today I watched The Handmaiden because everybody keeps telling me that it's like a horror movie, and it's not. It's a drama I would not recommend it if you, I don't know. It's not something I would recommend to many people. There's a lot of sex stuff going on, like way more than I was like. Is this a porn movie?
Wow.
But it's one of the highest rated movies on Letterboxd. Literally, if you go to all the movies on Letterboxd and just like click on films and sort by rating highest first, yeah, it's on the second page of the million films that they have on Letterboxd. It's a 4.41 on Letterboxd, which you never see 4 point anything on Letterboxd, just about. So it's kind of rare. But I mean, the movie was well done. It's just like I felt like it was gratuitous. I mean, I don't have a problem with like sex scenes and stuff if it fits like a lens to the plot. It's just, I don't know. It was just too much. But I give it 2 stars. I would not give it 5. And that's about it.
Cool.
I also watched the First Omen one more time, since that's on streaming again. And have you seen Possession, the 80s movie?
No.
Okay, so there's a famous scene in Possession where the French gal, the I forget her name in the movie, Anna, I think. She's in the subway and she does this like really prolonged scene of just flailing around and stuff, and she's dancing all over the place and it's crazy. And then that's exactly what Nell Tiger Free was doing when she was about to give birth to the demon baby in the movie First Omen. I didn't realize, like, she's totally channeling that gal. It's a weird movie.
The First Omen is definitely a weird movie. I'm gonna have to watch Possession then.
Yeah, do not watch Possession. It's not a good movie.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. I don't want to watch this movie.
I mean, you can if you want. I mean, you do you. It's considered a quote unquote like classic or whatever.
I'll be the judge of that.
But I think it's one of those. It's the classic because it was one of the first movies to do the kind of thing it's doing, and it has like a weird tentacle monster thing, and there's some weird stuff about it. But it's just on and on and on, and then this guy's beating his wife, and it's like people acting like it's normal. I don't like it. Do not recommend. But yeah, so let's move on to the business of the day, as you say.
Ooh.
Let's talk about movies we were assigned. I think you're going first.
I think I am. Yeah. All right. Well,
lay it on me, Zach.
All right, Stevie Weeby. So you assigned me the movie It Follows from 2015.
It's about a clown following people around, right?
Something like that. I mean...
It Follows?
Yeah, okay.
Get it? It's a joke. It's a really bad joke.
Here's a pen. Draw me a picture to that joke. Gosh. Anyway. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh.
95.
Wow. 66, it drops off. 66% audience score. Still, it's not an upturned popcorn bucket, but
right,
it does fall off from the 95. 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. The IMDb synopsis. A young woman is followed by an unknown supernatural force after a sexual encounter. That is borderline not enough to really fully draw me in, but I understand.
I mean, it's accurate, but
that it might be exactly something about it doesn't feel like it's enough, but maybe it actually is enough.
Yeah.
So, notes and observations. First off, this movie should be shown to every youth group in order to demonstrate what happens if you engage in premarital sex. Okay?
We don't need any more purity culture stuff, man. We're good.
No, we need to swing the other way. You need to go back to it. I saw this movie and I was like, this is what people needed. This is what we need. We need this movie to be shown in youth group.
No.
Yes, Steve. Come on. I'm going to recommend it to our youth pastor, who will immediately shun me from coming to the church. Yes. Question my sanity. One of the great things about this movie is the fact that I couldn't stop watching the background.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, if they're in a crowd, can I see through the crowd to see if there's this entity? Can I pick out the person who's supposed to be following them? So I really enjoyed that about this movie. I'm gonna do a full. Not I shouldn't say full breakdown. I'm gonna do like a half breakdown of this movie. So this movie follows, pun intended, a girl named Jay. I'm laughing way too hard at that. I wrote that joke like 2 days ago, and I'm laughing way
that's
too
a joke.
hard. I purposefully did that. Yeah. So okay, it's terrible. Okay, this movie follows a girl named Jay. They kind of basically go out of their way to show how normal she is. Like she is very bright-eyed and just a very. I wouldn't necessarily call her a happy kid.
No.
Like from the, I mean, but she seems to be pretty normal. I didn't entirely know whether these people were high school kids or whether they were college kids or whether they were out of college.
I was getting the vibe that they were like just out of college, but still at home, like over the summer sort of thing.
Right. That was the vibe that I got. That was kind of the vibe that I got, was that they were, but I had to really do some piecing together to really get there.
Yeah.
So, Jay has some pretty freaking creepy neighbors. They're doing some peeping Tommen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's weird. It freaked me out. Like she's in the pool at the beginning of the movie, and they're just peering through the bushes, and she's like, "I can see you."
Yeah.
And they don't run away. They're just like, "Oh, they're going to continue to stare." And then at one point, she's basically in her underwear in the bathroom after the encounter happens, and a ball gets thrown up against the window. It's a good jump scare moment, but they do pan to the outside of the house where you do see one of the neighbor boys up on the garage roof peering in, and I'm like, freaking
yeah. Someone needs to smack those kids upside the head.
Yeah, that led me to ask you this question: have you ever done any peeping Tommen? Have you ever done that?
I think when I was younger, I tried, but it's I never was successful. No, unfortunately. I mean, wait. Fortunately, it's illegal.
What is successful peeping Tom?
If you get to see something good.
Okay, well, maybe this is making me uncomfortable. I shouldn't have asked this question. I need to go watch the movie. I need to go watch the movie Creep again. I feel like I'm watching the movie Creep. This is Tubby Time, dude. This is Tubby Time. Dude, that scene is wild.
The Tubby Time?
I will be thinking about it. Was the fact, dude, it was the fact that he fake picked up his son. He mimed the whole experience.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to freaking Tubby Time. We could dedicate a whole episode to them. Oh my gosh. Dude, I can't even right now with freaking Tubby Time. I can't even continue right now. What the heck is Tubby Time? And also, if you're listening to this and you had the same reaction I did, please let me know. Am I the only one who just is incredibly creeped out? Steve, how did you react to that scene?
I think my mouth was just, my jaw was just dropping the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
Because, the scene starts out with like, all right, I'm going to go get in the tub. And you're like, what? What is this? You're going to go get in the tub. He goes and he gets in the tub, but he lights candles.
Yeah.
Like it's intimate.
Well, the fact that he was talking about how precious of a time it was with his dad.
Oh, that's
concerning, the way he was describing it.
Yeah.
And then he went into as far as to pantomime holding an invisible baby and doing the whole thing. Yeah.
I kept thinking to myself, if this is true, if he really does have a baseball-sized tumor in his head,
yep,
and he really is going to die, if I got a videotape from my father's estate and it was Tubby Time,
and your dad is naked, your naked dad
and my dad is like talking to another human being in the bathtub, in the bathroom, and he's also like pretending that I'm there and laying me on his chest and blah blah blah, like splashing me with water, dipping my fake eating my toes. Like, dude, I'd be like, my dad is dude. Anyway, we got to get back to It Follows.
Yeah.
I could keep talking about Tubby Time. It was
Let's
the creepiest.
leave it behind. Let it pass through.
I can't. It's gonna linger with me forever. Anywho, okay, so she has some peeping Tom neighbors.
Yep.
Jay has a boyfriend named Hugh, and there was something kind of off about Hugh, like from jump, and I didn't entirely know
his
what
name is Hugh.
Well, yeah, that is a red flag. If your name is Hugh, sorry, Hugh. We'll shout out all the Hughes, but also get the heck away from us. And so, I'm just kidding, but also, I'm again just JK, but JK. Dude, I still got Tubby Time. I can't get away from it. I got it in my head. So Hugh is
You gotta let it go, man.
I can't. I never can. Hugh is suspicious from the get-go, and there's a point to that. Like, because he is being followed, and you don't really know that at the time. You will very shortly, though, because they go to a movie and they're playing this game, and Hugh basically sees this entity, and gets freaked out, and so they leave. But she doesn't really know what's going on. And cut to, they basically do it in the car. And then she's having this very nice moment in the back seat of the car. Like, Hugh is kind of got out of the car at this point.
Stretching his legs.
I don't know what he's doing. He's in the freaking trunk getting some chloroform is really what he's doing. And climbs back in the car and knocks her out. Like, chloroform knocks her out.
Yeah.
And she's having this
stand-up guy.
She thinks that what they did was one thing, and Hugh knows it is something very, very different.
Right.
And that tension is pretty crazy to me. Mm-hmm. But maybe that's normal. I don't really know. I guess nothing about this movie is normal. No. So the next scene is her waking up tied to a wheelchair.
Right.
In like an abandoned, rundown parking garage or overpass or something like that. And the point of that scene is to show her, because Hugh now explains, hey, there's going to be this thing that's going to follow you. It can look like anything it can look like anyone, basically.
Right.
I'm not too sure whether that's living or dead.
It's a good question.
But maybe that's an easy answer and I just kind of missed it. So Hugh basically explains to her that he's got the worst case of chlamydia in the world. And it literally follows him around wherever he goes. And now he has given it to her. He gives her a set of rules. He says, he tells her basically to have sex with anyone to pass this curse along. Don't go in any room that doesn't have an exit. And this entity is slow. It only walks, but it's not dumb. So you can't outwit this entity, which plays back later at the end of the movie.
And only she can see. Only people who have connected into this thing can see it.
Right. She's the only one that can see. Like, so none of her friends who have never experienced this thing can see this. And there's another rule. I wouldn't necessarily call it a rule, more like a guideline that he gives her, something to the effect of like, if it kills you, it's going to come find me. So the goal is to pass it along.
Right, which it's going to come back to you eventually, right?
I mean,
So once it
yeah.
kills the guy, it's going to try to kill her, or vice versa.
Yeah. And you kind of see that when I forget what his name is, maybe Max or something like that. I forget what his name is. Because she has sex with another guy in the movie, and it kills. Like, she kind of breathes almost a sigh of relief, even though she's very much watching out now for it to kill that guy. And when it does, it immediately then goes back to her. So that point is kind of proven immediately. So I got another question for you. Okay. It's not about peeping Tom. You have the ability to carry this burden with you your entire life, or pass the burden slightly off to somebody else. What decision are you making? You're in this movie. What are you doing?
What am I doing? Well, I mean, I probably would try to not pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to want to have sex someday again. So there's that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably try to keep it contained.
I mean, it's going to completely disrupt your whole life.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would probably try to look into. I'd probably try to keep it on the run, and then try to figure out where this thing came from to begin with. That's one thing they never do in this movie. Is they never try to figure out what the heck this thing is at all, like at the foundation of it. Do they?
They do allude to, like, somebody had to be the first,
right?
But they don't ever. They only ever track down Hugh, because Hugh. One of the things I missed is, like, Hugh explains this to her in the wheelchair, wheels her back to the car, and the next scene is Hugh pulling up to her house and basically dumping her out of the car and being like, pass it off to somebody else, and then gets in the car and drives off.
They see the gal coming after them, though.
Right, that's his point. His point is, like, show her. Can you see that woman coming up to us? Yeah. Yes, I can. Okay, here are the rules and the guidelines. And it's such an extreme. Like, he did not need to tie her up in order to show her. It was such an extreme way to get her to realize what the gravity of the situation. He didn't even give her a chance to, like, disbelieve what's happening.
Yeah.
Which obviously bothers me, like that. But the point is to be unsettling. I think that's the point of the moment. Yeah. It's like the whole thing is unsettling.
Totally.
So, yeah. Oh, okay. Here's another question. Because this movie kind of reminded me of this question that I've seen on the internet before. You get $10 million, but for the rest of your life, there is an invincible snail following you around. If it catches you and touches you, you die. Do you take the money?
100%.
Okay. This movie reminded me of that.
Yes. Totally.
And it made me chuckle, like, just the complete ridiculousness. Because this movie is very much that.
Yeah.
But only a human being, an invisible human being is following you. And the human being is not invincible. Because several times they kill.
They can shoot it and stuff.
They kill the entity.
Right.
So it can just respawn as somebody else, which is an interesting thought. Like, could you just shoot it, kill it, and then it's going to regenerate at some point? But is that somewhere else, or is that close by? Like, you always have to keep running.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem I have with this movie. Is it's a snail thing, because, like, if it's a snail, I can fly to Australia and live there for a while, and I can calculate how long it will take for a snail to get to me. You know, and I'm assuming it doesn't take transportation or something like that. But, like, it's like a slow walking thing coming towards you. That, I don't know, it doesn't scare me. I would just drive away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The bedroom scene where, like, she locks herself in the bedroom with two other people. Like someone knocks at the door, they're like, "Don't open the door." They open the door, and like right behind the
Right.
person who walks in is the entity. So she screams and like basically jumps out the window.
Right.
Like, because in that moment, yeah, because Hugh already told you, don't get in a room that doesn't have an exit.
Right. Well,
And
even
technically the window is an exit, but you know.
when they all jump in the car and they drive forever and end up at like this lake house or whatever, a house on the beach.
Yeah.
They've driven like hundreds of miles, it seems like. And that evening, the entity's there.
Right.
How in the heck did that? I mean, does it can it jump distances or something?
It
just
seems
didn't seem plausible to me.
it seems to be that this entity is all because the entity can be anything or anyone. It seems like there is a proximity that you always have to the entity. If you are around other people, you have the ability to be around this entity. And so even though you drove 100 miles away, 50 miles away,
is it kind of like the agents in the Matrix?
Yeah,
like,
they're always there.
If there's a person there, it spawns as the person.
Right. So if you drive too far away, you're right. That one particular entity can't walk that, or the time it would take would be a tremendous amount of time, right? It would take a month for you to walk that far, or whatever the case is, right? So you bought yourself a month by driving 100 miles or whatever the case is. But because the entity seems that it could jump like that, because, you know, obviously supernatural. Yeah. So the logistics and like the logistics of it kind of don't make any sense. And I wish that they were a little bit more realistic, but anywho, we get back to the movie. So he drops her off, skedaddles, and nobody really believes her. She's kind of acting a little crazy, all of that kind of stuff. There were several moments from here on out that I thought this movie is basically equal parts driving in silence and trying to figure out how to defeat this thing. Like,
there's a lot of driving in silence, yeah.
I was getting, it slightly reminded me of Under the Skin, like the amount of driving in silence that this movie was doing. Because once she gets dropped off, there is just a ton of them driving in silence.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't a ton, but at least kind of felt that way. Yep. The movie then, they go through, you know, a series of, they go to the beach house and the entity finds them. They have an actual, like all of them have an encounter, but still kind of slightly don't believe Jay. And I'm like, you broke a chair over the back of this entity, this invisible entity, and you still don't believe what's going on? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
The ending of this movie is this pool scene where the kids, what I'm gathering is the kids kind of basically think that if Jay gets in the pool and the entity goes in after her, we can take these electrical devices like hair dryers and toasters and things like that and turn them on and throw them in the pool once Jay gets out and maybe shock the entity. And but again, Hugh said it's slow, but it's not dumb. Mm-hmm. So the entity walks in the pool room, stops, basically assesses what's going on, and then goes up to one of the devices and starts just chucking it at Jay.
Yeah.
Then another kid, who I forget his name, just starts wildly shooting the entity and ends up shooting.
Kids are brilliant, aren't they?
One of his friends in the leg. And I'm like, dude, come on. Wild to me. There were two aspects of this movie that I thought were pretty interesting. One, that you could shoot the entity and kill it, because in the pool scene, like they actually kill that. They shoot it in the head and kill that entity. And I thought that was a very interesting idea that maybe could subdue the amount of running that you would need to do if you could just simply kill the entity.
Yeah.
And the second one was that I was under the impression that the entity would just be the same person, like different people for different people, but the same person for one person. So once you see the entity for the first time, that's the person that you're always going to see. And so when she sees that grandma in the school, which is creepy, I was like, oh, well, we just have to watch out for this grandma.
Right.
We just have to watch out for this old lady.
Now you never know what it's going to be.
But the movie was like, no, it can be it changed every time we saw the entity. It was a completely different person. So Jay basically finally has, quote unquote, relations with Paul.
Yeah.
And passes it off to him. Paul is like this old high school crush that she's had. And the ending of the movie is so good. I thought the ending of this movie was so good. Like the two of them walking down the sidewalk, holding hands, and behind them is the entity walking right towards them, right in the middle of them. And then the movie cuts, like that's it. And then it's like, it follows, title card. And I was like, oh, dang, it was such a good ending because it wasn't this happy ending. You have to deal with this. Yeah. There are these consequences that you have in your life that you might have to deal with your entire life. So like, as far as maybe the metaphor of the movie, I didn't dive into, I'm just now realizing I wanted to really dive into some fan theories about like breaking down this movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the obvious one is that the movie is a giant metaphor for STDs.
I've heard that. I've also heard that that's not what it is.
But I've also heard that that's one of the things that I did hear, and I didn't write any of it down, but one of the things I did hear when I just did a basic Google search for the movie It Follows is there were a lot of people that were like, you could stay at the STD theory.
Yep.
But this movie could go so much deeper. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really dive into those before recording now. So I'm not really too sure as far as the deeper oniony levels of this movie. But I did enjoy myself. I thought this movie did a really good job of portraying the paranoia and fear surrounding something like this. Jay the actress did such a good job portraying that immediate fear. I don't know how long Hugh had been dealing with this because he has rules.
He knows a lot about it.
And so it makes me think that he's kind of been dealing with it for a while because Jay's very fresh in dealing with all of this kind of stuff. So she's super locked into constant paranoia, constant fear. And I also like the fact that Jay's friends did not abandon her. They were like, hey.
Yeah, they helped.
They helped out incredibly, and to varying degrees, obviously. Two of her guy friends, she passed it off to, and which has to be an incredibly tough decision because it's not just like, oh, well, we're going to do it. It's you're going to pass this curse off to me and we're both going to experience it together. Yeah. So it is passing off of this burden but all of her friends are super great throughout the movie. I really liked that about the movie. I'm going to give it a 4.3 out of 5.
Whoa.
I really enjoyed this movie. I think they're going to get ready to make a second one.
Yeah, They Follow.
And now that I've watched It Follows, I'm also low-key, no, not even low-key. The soundtrack of this movie is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life.
Really? I have to listen to that again.
It's so 80s. I love it so much. And it's ominous and it's creepy and it's lighthearted and it's really good. one of my favorite soundtracks. 4.3 out of 5 though. Yeah, I enjoy this movie a lot, to the point where I would go in the theater to watch the next one.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. First time I saw it, I gave it like a 1.5 stars because I'm like, this is the stupidest premise ever. It's like it's this slow walking thing, and to me it seemed to be just all about don't have sex and purity culture type stuff, and which just caused a lot of problems for people, and I don't know, I just didn't do anything for me. I just thought it was stupid. But I watched it again because I'm like, what am I missing here? Because
Right.
everybody, so many people give it such high ratings, and people online that I really respect I usually agree with their stuff. They give high ratings, so I watched it again, and I gave it 4 stars because I think I was I don't know, I was less in my head about it. I was just like trying to figure out, like, calculate how fast is the person walking, how far away they are, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's better than the second time around for me. But I'm curious to see what they do with the follow up. So,
yeah, I know nothing about the follow up other than the fact that it's called They Follow.
Yeah, there's nothing confirmed, but somebody said that apparently an idea was thrown out there that they're going to trace it back and find the source.
See, that'd get me in. That's a hook, line, and sinker.
I would see that
because I want to know. They call it a curse, so like, is it witchcraft? Is it like how did somebody get this?
Yeah,
and also like how far back does it go?
Right.
How far back does it really? I mean, does it go back to? I don't know. Like,
well, it would have to stop when anybody, like, even if it went back hundreds of years, those people are dead already. So it could only go back until it's to the source, and then it would have to stop, I guess.
Well, yeah, but that's everything.
Maybe that's the only way to. Maybe that's what.
It can only go back to the source, and it can't go any further than that.
That's my point. Maybe they figure out that's the only way to stop it, is to let it burn out at the end, but then everybody who is in the current line has to die.
I mean, yeah,
but then it wouldn't be doing
technically
anything worse.
Right. Technically, the only way to really defeat this you would have to sacrifice yourself. You would have to just be like, okay, we're going to get together with everyone in this curse, and we're all going to die. We're all going to let it kill us, or however that works. Because at some point, you're right, it's not going to have any more people.
Right.
Yeah. The leg bent backwards in the very beginning of the movie with that girl died was pretty brutal. That was pretty wild.
This is pretty high up there in my beginnings of movies that really like pull you in and that are like shocking. Right along there with Evil Dead Rise.
I need to rewatch this movie, or maybe we just need to have a watch party and the two of us need to watch this movie together. Because I need to know what creeped you out about it. Because I did not think that this movie was that creepy.
This movie?
No.
Or Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. You were like, oh my gosh, this movie is brutal. And I was like, this movie was awesome from start to finish.
It was. So I was saying it's brutal doesn't mean it's not awesome. It was awesome.
Yes. Yes.
But I mean, things like eating the glass, using a cheese grater on someone's leg, for goodness sakes, that
oh no, I thought that was so good.
It gives me the shivers thinking about it.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
I did picture that happening to me.
She did rip that scalp off that chick in the very beginning of the movie, and I was like, oh dang! Like, the beginning of that movie was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah,
it was awesome. Yeah, I need to watch that movie again. Anyway, you got a movie I assigned you. Hit it, bro.
Let's hit it. Zach, I know what you did last summer. is the movie that I watched.
Okay.
See what I
Dead
did
jump.
there? Okay, so the year is 1997. I had just gotten engaged to my lovely wife, Christy, because I'm old. And and this movie came out out of the year after Scream came out. And from what I've deduced and read, they the folks who made Scream were like, that made us a lot of money. We want more money. We should do something like that makes money. So they got this book. Apparently, this is based on a book from like the 60s, and so they wrote a version of the movie for, and I think it was the same guy who wrote, if memory serves correctly, he wrote Scream 1, 2, 4, and yeah, so he wrote the same. Let's get the same writer, get the same people in here. Let's do this thing. Get some hot young up and comer actors, and they made a movie. Shot it in 50 days.
Wow.
It was greenlit to on the screen in 10 months.
That's not bad.
To bank on the success of Scream. And is it entertaining? Sure. Is it a good movie? No.
No,
it's not a good movie. I mean, what do you mean? What is a good movie, Zach? What is good?
That's
like,
such a philosophical question.
The characters in this movie, so it stars Jennifer Love Hewitt and her boobs, and Sarah Michelle Gellar. I swear, if you watch this movie ever again, every shot is like, make sure they frame her boobs in there.
Oh yeah,
everything's it's all about her boobs. Even the cover, the poster, make sure to get the boobs in there. Anyway, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Ryan Philippe, who I've never heard of before, and who I wanted to just strangle the entire time I watched this movie, because he's just an absolute boneheaded jerk. He yells at everybody. He's got anger problems. Thank goodness he dies. That's kind of mean to say, but he's not a real person, so it's okay.
Yeah.
The actor didn't die.
Thank you for separating that out.
The dialogue, so especially Jennifer Love Hewitt, her dialogue, because they're trying to make her smart, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
It's overly complex. It's like over the top complex. It's like no one ever says these words. No one. And,
so did it remind you of that paragraph that you read this past week?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, if anybody's out there, if you're applying for jobs, people who look at your resume will judge you so harshly.
And send their friends text messages of your resume.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be legal.
Anonymity was secure, but yeah.
It was the most convoluted crap I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Blue sky solutioneering. Anyway. So the story is okay, but I feel like it tried too hard, because every single person, it tried too hard to have a twist at the end, because they're trying to bank. What I read is they're trying to bank on the success of Scream in such that they had a slasher movie where the identity of the slasher was really obscured. They had no idea who it was, kind of like Ghostface. And so this guy's like the fisherman or whatever. Mm-hmm. And yeah. I did like the hook thing. I like that really you can do cool stuff with the hook. And speaking of cool stuff with the hook, I forgot one of the movies I saw this week that I completely skipped over was In a Violent Nature.
Dude.
The hook usage of a hook in that was inspired. That's all I'll say, because you haven't seen it yet.
I have not.
But so the killer was kind of boring except for the hook. It was kind of cool, but anyway, but what they're trying to do is do the I don't know who the killer is thing, but to do that, they basically had every single person in this movie was a red herring. Every single character seemed like that they were there just to be a red herring, and I was surprised that Leonard from Big Bang Theory was in it. Yeah, he was in there. And he died. He was like, what's the purpose of this guy's character? Just to be a red herring and die. Um, and I wrote down, is teens going to the beach in the middle of the night in California, is it really a thing? Or I guess this is like South Carolina or whatever. Is going to the beach in the middle of the night a thing? Really? Zach?
I have never personally done this because I treat beaches like they're parks and
Yeah.
dusk and dawn, right? Like,
Right.
so also something about looking out into the abyss at night is wildly disturbing.
I mean, there's
Dude, the
something's
ocean
gonna come
freaks
out of
me
the
out, bro.
something's gonna come out of the waves and kill you. It's just, I mean, does nobody
Dude,
think of this?
100%.
Well, anyway, the basic plot is, and a lot of people have seen this movie by now, but the high school friends, four of them, they accidentally hit a dude on the road, and they think he's dead, and they're gonna hide the body, so they toss it in the water. Right as he's going under the water, they realize he's awake, and they let him go, and they think he's dead. And then they find out later that somebody found a body in the water, and they think it's the guy that they killed. And so they start getting these notes in their mail of, I know what you did last summer, and they're like, we didn't tell anybody. Turns out the guy who they thought they killed was actually a murderer who killed the guy that the police found. And so the guy they thought they killed is not the guy they thought they killed. And the guy they thought they killed was still alive and trying to kill them, and did kill most of them, or half of them, and a lot of other people. So, I mean, it's, like I said, the story is not bad, but I just didn't like how, I don't know, it just seemed very contrived, which is a word I hate using with fiction, because it's obviously contrived. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know, it just seemed like it was trying too hard to be clever. And I don't like Freddie Prinze Jr. anyway. He's creepy.
Did his dialogue seem like he was basically just reading the script instead of actually acting?
Yeah, the acting was bad.
I started to rewatch that this morning after I watched Creep, because you got to come off of the high of Creep, and so what better movie to watch than I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Right.
And I only got to the point in the movie where they dumped the body,
Mhm.
and then the card of 1 year later, and I got that far, and I had, like, every time Freddie was talking, I was like, dude, I'm not saying he's a bad actor,
He's not a good one.
but I'm also like, in this movie,
Yeah.
like, I'm not talking about in general, I'm talking about, like, in this movie, it very much seemed like, at least at the beginning, I was like, I didn't pick up on that like the first time that I watched it, but now I'm like, dude, you're basically just like, you're pretending to act. Like, it feels very much like you're playing the part of an actor all while you're playing whatever part you're playing in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. That's a good way to put it. Like, Jennifer Love Hewitt was by far the best actor in the bunch.
Yeah.
But like the dude who played Barry was horrible. He had like one mode. Just mad.
Just douche.
Just mad douche.
Mad douche. Yeah.
I do feel like that they completely, I mean, you've got a killer with a hook, right? Completely missed a chance. They should have called him the hooker.
I will
The
support
hooker's
this
coming
idea.
for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's catchy.
Yeah. We got to kill that hooker.
Yeah. Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't sound good.
That hooker killed Jason. Dude, look out, Sarah. The hooker's coming for you. Missed opportunity. Yeah.
But anyway, that wouldn't have been. I just, I don't know. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if I have like a year cutoff date that I like movies before this or after this, but not before it.
I would like to explore that
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I should go through the ones that I like and like sort them by year or something and see what I think.
So
But
is is this movie's 1997-ness too bad? Like,
Well,
does
I mean,
its 97-ness make it a bad movie?
no, not the 97ness of it, but like Scream. I love Scream. It's 96. So
Right.
I don't know. I think it feels like after I read that it had been put together and thought of and written and everything in 10 months, that made sense. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that for a lot of this stuff, it's like the first idea that they had, let's do that one, you know? Or
Right.
some movies like you hear about the making of later and they're writing the script as they're doing it, you know? But this, it just didn't feel like it was really thought through and well baked. I don't know.
Well,
And I know a lot of people like this movie, so
if you're gonna rush the movie, here's the other thing. When you just about what you said, if a lot of people like it, I've said this before. What was it about? Was it about the last movie that I watched? It was definitely about The Shining.
yeah.
Like if it was The Exorcist. That was it. It was part of my rant about the movie The Exorcist. That movie's not good.
No.
The movie's not good. But if it was one of the first horror movies that you watched and it imprinted itself on you as the standard of horror, then you'll like it.
Yeah.
Forever. And you'll look past all of the flaws and you'll look past the completely ridiculousness of this movie. And because it's bad. And so is The Shining. And I will die on those hills. They're bad. Like I want to watch more Stanley Kubrick movies just this because I've seen 2 so far and both of them are terrible. I'm
not a fan.
Dude, I just Eyes Wide Shut was terrible. And The Shining was not
and like
good.
2001 Space Odyssey, slowest movie on the planet.
That was the next one that I wanted to see was 2001 A Space Odyssey. And just to see is this movie because people revered that director.
Yeah.
And NASA talked him into faking the moon landing. And so like at the end of the day, listen, any way I get to work it in, I'm going to do it because it's so funny to me. That conspiracy theory is one of the single best that we've ever made up. It's one of the best. But these movies are bad movies. But if they imprint it on you, I have a hypothesis that if those movies imprinted on you because they were some of the first movies that you watched, like I have a completely adolescent memory of having fun watching Scary Movie.
Right. Oh, the
so
movie Scary Movie.
When I told you to watch it and you were telling me about it, I was like, oh, yeah, this movie is bad. Why did I like it? Oh, I liked it because of the atmosphere that I was in and the age that I was and the whatnot while I was watching it. So, that's my hypothesis is that if you so a movie like I Know What You Did Last Summer could be undercooked. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't done baking because you rushed it to tail pretty quickly the height of Scream. Because Scream has a pretty decent longevity to it. But I Know What You Did Last Summer 2 was so bad.
That's good. That's funny. That's another thing. I wrote down there are sequels there's the 2 sequels. There's I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And then there's I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right.
And they're rebooting it this year. It's coming out in 2025, the reboot. But especially apparently it's like a requel because It's supposed to. I think it's still going to have Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt in it. For apparently, it's going to continue on. They're going to retcon the third one like it never happened, and they're going to continue on from the story from part 2. But I didn't go through Rotten Tomatoes. This is a stinker. It's 45% tomatoes and audience score 41%.
Mm.
And IMDb is 5.8. Metacritic 52%, and then Letterboxd is 2.9.
Yeah.
So I give it 2 myself.
2 yourself, okay. Well, not everyone can be a winner.
No. But you know what, Zach? You always are.
Thank you, Steve. I felt that came from your heart. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you could tell because I leaned into the mic.
I mean, that wasn't
you're always
the. That.
You're always a winner, Zach.
Steve, if people could see my face right now, if people could just live in my brain during what I said to you in my head.
Let's not go.
And okay, well, it was. I felt the same way about Creep as I did about what you just did. I both wanted you to immediately stop and never do it again, and also just keep going because it was completely ridiculous. Like you leaned in and immediately turned into Barry White. Like, what the heck?
Time for some smooth jazz.
I don't like smooth jazz, dude. Get your smooth jazz out of here. What the heck?
All right, well, let's pick movies for next week.
Yes.
I have one for you. Are you picking? Ready to
Right
go
now, bro.
Ready?
Picking right now. Yeah, you can give me my movie.
Okay.
Hit me with it.
Hit me with your best shot.
Hit me one time. I don't know why I did that.
Where did it go? I lost my list.
All right, go ahead, Steve.
I'm trying to find my list.
Remember, just take your time.
All right, Zach. If you have seen this one already, I will slaughter you for not having updated things. But
are you gonna hook me? The hooker's coming.
1922 is the name of the film. It's just a number, 1922. It's a Stephen King adaptation.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong list.
And this one definitely happens in the summer, since we're doing summer theme ones. You can tell it's summer because there's corn, tall.
1922.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I definitely have seen this movie.
Serious?
I'm just kidding.
I reach through my screen. Throttle you.
Dude, don't throttle me. It's inappropriate.
Do you like rats, Zach?
I don't know, Steve. Do you like apples?
But the best review on here says, "I don't remember Ratatouille being so dark."
Oh no, dude!
You'll find out.
Okay, well, I don't like.
But it's I liked it a lot, and it also, well, we'll get into it next week.
Okay. All right, Steve.
Go for it.
Here we go. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready. This is the first movie. This is the first movie that I'm ever going to give you that I have also never seen. I want to see this movie. I will watch this movie.
Okay.
But it's called Motel Hell. And it's from 1980.
That's before my cutoff time.
So you're not allowed to watch it. Mom and Dad won't let you watch that one.
Oh my word! Just looking at the big picture on Letterboxd. It's a cop looking confused, and the guy with the pig on his head. Pig head on his head.
So I wanted to watch this movie. I think I followed on Instagram. I followed some like horror nostalgia page. I forget what they're called. They might be horror nostalgia or whatever. But they show clips from, older horror movies.
Yep.
And I think I saw a clip from this one and immediately was like, oh my gosh, I have to watch this movie because it seems completely ridiculous to me. And I immediately added it to my October list.
Yeah.
And, the fact that it was also a summer themed movie, I'm like, oh, I gotta assign Steve. Just gotta, punch the ticket and we gotta assign this movie to Steve. And so I put it up on the little spin wheel here, and sure enough, the horror gods blessed me.
Well,
and you get to watch this movie.
It, not gonna lie, it makes me worried that you haven't seen this, and that you're recommending it to me.
Yeah, this is the interesting territory of like, I don't know what we're about to get into.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because there's excitement in both spheres to me. Like, I know what you're about to get into, and I'm giddy with excitement to know what you think about a particular movie. But then there's also now, like, we've both never seen this movie. Is it going to be the worst thing in the world? So here's hoping that it's the worst thing in the world, Steve.
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah. Listen, come on. It's going to be great.
It'll be great. Positive attitude, Steve.
Positive attitude.
We can do it.
Yeah. Well, next week, Steve, we got a guest on the podcast. It's Justin Long. He agreed. He's going to be on the podcast.
Oh, really, Zach? Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally believe you.
I'm just going to will it into existence at this point.
Okay.
We're just going to be like, we got a triple header coming up. All three of our guests. You're going to be on the next episode.
Well,
okay.
I need to hop off. Got to go buy a bike tube. Got to go buy a bike tube for a bike tire tube. Man, I can't say that.
Watching you try to say it was fun.
Bike tube? Yeah.
Inner tube for a bike?
That's the word, yes. Got a flat tire on a bike.
Okay.
So,
cool.
It's exciting stuff, I know.
Yeah.
Riveting.
Well,
go enjoy your evening and try to think about Creep or,
Tubby Time.
Tubby Time.
Dude, I'm going to think about Tubby Time forever.
Okay. Never going to be able to take a bath again.
Never. Never.
See you later.
All right, see ya. All right, listeners, that's a wrap for another episode of Horrors Yet Unseen. Thanks for joining us.
And we'd love for you to become part of the conversation. Just drop us a voicemail at 1-216-202-5495 or email us at horrorsyetonunseen@gmail.com. And keep up with the latest by following us on Instagram. That handle is at horrorsyetonunseenpod. We'd also appreciate it if you like and review our show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your support means a lot to us. See you next time.